Falcon Cinephoto was established in 1971 by two partners, Abdullah Muhammad Khan and Khalifa Shaheen. So you can say Falcon Cinephoto was the first photographic establishment based on the study of photography and cinematography and all the technical data that goes with that. Khalifa Shaheen. I am a film director and photographer and cinematographer. The photography in Bahrain started very, very simple. It only small portrait studios in Manama. And there were only concentration on portrait for passports and personal only interior photography, no exterior. And there were few in Manama, and there was one or two in Muharraq. I can mention National Studio, Bahrain Studio, there was a Hollywood Studio, there was another Abdullah Studio, Abdullah Ibrahim Studio, and was also, I must say, there was also a Khalfan Studio run by my cousin. That's all. But the cinematography came 20 years or more after this. And it started really, the first time started is in Babco in 1958. And that's the time I carried the first professional camera, German-made, Ariflex from Arnold and Richter, which is camera makers in Germany. The cinema, I started the cinema after my education in industrial studies college in Babco, and I took 1 year there. After that, I was given the chance or the opportunity to join the film unit which existed in Babco, and I chosen not to go back to maintenance, but to take this new position, which is in the film unit in Babco, the main office. That's how I started in 1958. After this, I spent 1 year with John Baker. I went up to 1960 in the film unit. Then I had the chance, he recommended that I go abroad to study further about the subject, about still photography to start with, and then cinematography. I went to a college in Ealing, which is west part of London, and I studied there still photography, and then I moved into another college and in Polytechnic, where I studied 6 months purely in cinematography. After 2 years of study in England, I returned back to Bahrain, back to Babco, and then I started working again in the same equipment that I left 2 years ago, and started making what we used to call Bahrain newsreel. This Bahrain newsreel tells you about all what's happening in Bahrain, everything, all the news that goes in Bahrain, even to car accident, sport, football, any kind of sport, activities in school, the travel, the visits of His Highness outside of Bahrain, visitors, official visitors of head of states to Bahrain, all kind of activity. In other words, Bahrain newsreel used to be just like a monthly information about what was going in Bahrain. Besides that, we also made some documentary films on one subject only. The newsreel, I go back to the newsreel, it was shot in black and white, 35 millimeter. Then we made 16 millimeter from the black and white. The 35 millimeter I distribute all over the cinemas in Bahrain. There were 6 cinemas in Manama, and 1 cinema in Muharraq, and 2 cinema in Awali. The newsreel was with documentary and music and effects. The documentary is in English and in Arabic. All the cinemas version was in Arabic, but Muharraq, Manama, Awali, they took the English version. After 1 month of running in the cinemas, I received a print, 16 millimeter. Then I take a van with a generator and projector and go to villages and clubs. In the clubs, there was electricity, so I don't need the generator. But when I go to villages, some villages in those years, we talk about the 60s coming into the 70s. There was some villages didn't have electricity, but sometimes the electricity in some of the houses, we were not allowed to go in. I had to put the screen outside in any open area, and all the people will come, sit on the ground, and look at the films I show. Through the 16 millimeter projector, I show first cartoons, Walt Disney cartoons, like Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, and Pluto, and others that produced by Walt Disney as cartoons. Then I bring the newsreel. After that, I show 1 or 2 films, documentary about any country, like talking about Australia, or talking about part of America, or Africa, or Far East, any kind of documentary films. I make a program for that audience of cartoon, news, documentary. That takes about 2 hours, and everybody's happy. I like to make an episode just in the sea as an episode, not filming outside. Hamad and the Pirates came to be a film produced by Walt Disney and concentrated on the sea. As I told you, it is mysterious and it's very difficult to film in the sea because every day is different. So if you cannot finish your sequence in one day and you go to another day, you will not be able to cut your film because the situation, the weather, the waves, the light, the sun is different of yesterday. And we started Hamad and the Pirates as preparing research in May 1969. After 6 months of research, we found the boy, which is the hero. And we found also the actors. And the actors are mainly the crew of the dhow and the helpers and the grip.
Where do you come from?
From Bahrain.
Bahrain. That is indeed far away.
Yes, I know.
Tomorrow we will search for a fishing boat to take you ashore. Then you can go home.
Thank you.
We have started research for 6 months and filming for 1 year, which makes us 18 months of Walt Disney production of Hamad and the Pirates. But Hamad and the Pirates was not Hamad and the Pirates. It was Boy from Bahrain. This is the film, this is the program which is televised in America. It's called Boy from. The Wonderful World of Disney produce one film every night at 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock. And Wonderful World of Disney shows a children film in this hour, but it is called, they have run a sort of a program. Boy from Australia, boy from Singapore, boy from Cairo, boy from Beirut, boy from anywhere. So the idea came when I met the director in my trip to Saudi, because Babco and Aramco are sisters. So I go to film in Aramco. There I met the director who came to Bahrain in 1949. Told me, "This is your equipment?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You are a cinematographer?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Where you come from?" I said, "From Bahrain." I said, "From Bahrain?" He said, "I went to Bahrain in 1949 and I wanted to go back again to make a film of Walt Disney production about Boy from Bahrain. Can you help me?" I said, "Yes, I can help you." When I came back to Bahrain, I talked to Minister of Information, who accepted the idea, loved the idea, and said, "Walt Disney to come to Bahrain and make a film, this is wonderful." So there we started. But when we started Boy from Bahrain, to call Boy from Bahrain, it was too little for Bahrain, too small for Bahrain, because Bahrain gave us so much history, so much archaeology, so much tradition, so much everything. Therefore, we suggested, me and the director, that the film can take a new way. Forget about Boy from Bahrain. Let's concentrate on something else and make the hour from 7 to 8 to go 2 episodes. 7 to 8 and next day 7 to 8. Here comes the thinking of Hamad and the Pirates. Why? Because, as I mentioned before, that I like to work in the sea, pirates, etc., came Hamad and the Pirates because of the smugglers in the sea. Hamad and the Pirates is one of the best films I have ever worked with, because I have worked with a Hollywood director. I knew how to do tricks. I knew how to do some sort of creation. For example, we have used a Dari pool to create some scenes. One of the scenes that we created is when the boy was frightened from a shark and he took his knife. The shark passed on his face. Then went around. We were frightened that to take the boy and film him in the real sea. There could be a real shark there. So we bought a big shark, we took his stomach out, we saw the stomach, then one person at the end of the pool, a dory pool, with a wire, the other one on the other side with the wire. This one let this one pull, and the shark passed in the front of the boy. We created this in a pool and convinced the audience that this shark is in the sea with the boy. So this creation, why? To make the audience convinced that this is real, it's going on, real. Therefore, this is how Hollywood works. This is how Bollywood works. That's how we came to do Hamad and the Pirates. And it is wonderful because it is an international information about Bahrain, about the area. Now, there's 68 newsreels available to promote Bahrain history, the history that I was very active and work. 10 years from the beginning of the 60s to the beginning of the 70s. Therefore, these newsreels, plus the broadcasting, plus the newspaper in Arabic and English, was the Ministry of Information, headed by Sheikh Mohammed bin Mubarak. Those 10 years were no television. It was this kind of information that was on for 10 years or maybe 11 years, from the beginning of the 60s to the beginning of the 70s. Bahrain television opened its doors and started in 1973-74, and it was rediffusion television, which later on was not really enough to give that huge information about Bahrain, to tell the world about. It was not enough. Therefore, Mr. Tariq Al-Muayyad, the Minister of Information, then took over, and we started Bahrain television, which is going on until now from 1975. I have like 500,000 images about the whole of Bahrain, every corner of Bahrain. When I started like 60 years ago, I was in my own running from east to west, from north to south, and I was hoping that was somebody to come and help me in my running. There are so many things you can photograph. You go out from the door, there's so many things to photograph. The whole of Bahrain people are so lovely to photograph. There is nothing in Bahrain that is not to be photographed. If you have a little bit of talent, you can increase that talent by just looking at things in a different way and produce it for a viewer to be happy with it. Photographs give some pleasure, gives some history. The history of anywhere. You look at Maharag, the history of Maharag attached to the photograph gives you a very clear picture. One of the films which is really close to my heart is People in the Horizon. And these people are the handicapped, the I made this film in 1981. Falcon Cinephoto was established in 1971 by two partners, Abdullah Muhammad Al-Khan and Khalifa Shaheen. Abdullah was already studied already. He had his course in United Kingdom and finished with the still photography. Khalifa Shaheen also had his study in the United Kingdom about beginning still and cinematography. So we already spent working with Bahrain Petroleum Company, each of us approximately 20 years. So we were really ready to take Falcon Cinephoto as photographic establishment based on the highest technology in those days. On those bases, we gone into partners, 50-50 partners. We opened the establishment, Falcon Cinephoto, in November 1971. Falcon Cinephoto existed in Bahrain, working on the highest technology between 1971 and 2006. During this time, we have opened 10 branches all over Bahrain. We had over 65 employees, office staff, photographers, cinematographers, helpers, everything. The government also was very happy, and we have covered so many works for them in documentary films and in still photography, exhibition, etc., etc. So you can say Falcon Cinephoto was the first photographic establishment based on the study of photography and cinematography and all the technical data that goes with that. Falcon Cinephoto was dissolved in 2006. And the way it was dissolved, we, myself and my partner, Abdullah Al-Khan, divided the asset equally. House of Photography, Bahrain House of Photography. And I made a new establishment called KSDI, Khalifa Shaheen Digital Images. Unfortunately, I did not continue. God bless him, he still going, he's continue with his Bahrain House of Photography, which I always wish him the best of luck. So that's where we end up with Falcon Cinephoto. Cinema is very, very affected in the mind. You carry the idea, and therefore we have good information, we have good knowledge, we have good education, but also we had bad education which come to us from the West and affected our mind. There are good ones and there are bad ones. But the film and the cinema is magic. Magic that attracts the person, affects the person in his mind. In festivals, I went to India and Poland, Krakow, and Egypt, and Philippines. So I got awards from all these festivals. With the films I made about Bahrain, the flag of our country in these festivals, among 60 or 80 or 100 other countries, Bahrain is there, present, because of the films I made. We have so many young people who are interested, and I have seen many films in Bahrain festivals. I think there's good future. We have good trial. The only way that I would like to see that they don't believe they are talented unless they are talented. Try, study, and try and take as much photographs as possible. Try to make his own way through, but not to hurry to call himself a director before he really does the shooting. First, he must shoot films and films and films, and then start to learn editing. All good directors comes from the editing bench. The first day I went in Muharrak Cinema, and I sat on a stone bench. In front of me, there was a white wall, and I didn't know what's going to happen. Suddenly, there was a very strong light coming from behind me, and this light gone on the wall. From the wall, I saw people singing, dancing, fighting, aeroplanes, machines. All the world I have seen on this white wall. And I wondered, where is this? Where do they come from? How is this happening? What kind of picture is this? How can they make this thing happen? Are these people coming from behind the wall? What is this? To me, that was some magic. So I started to think, one day I want to discover the secret of this magic.